Everyone to the period performance war point of the first Bardic War. I am your host, Honor von Atzinger. I'm very excited to be here. I love period music. I was so happy that I got to host this one, and we have so many amazing performers lined up for you guys right now. So just make sure that you get comfy because this is going to be a great show. I know it's technically a competition, but it's also a show. So, our first performer comes from the Western Alliance, and they are Sigrid Galdrakana or Gala Eriksdotter. Gala, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Hello, can everybody hear me okay? Yes, good, perfect. Hi, my name is Leremoder, or Mistress Sigrider Galdrakona Gala Eriksdotter, and I am from Ontir, and I'm competing today for the Western Alliance. The piece I'm going to be doing for you today is entitled Drømte meg en drøm, and it is in Danish, or rather Dano-Norwegian. And just as a little bit of background to this piece, the piece was found as a tiny, tiny little fragment of a piece at the very end of a law textbook from about 1300 to 1320. Why it is at the bottom of a law textbook is anyone's guess. I think it's just a big old doodle. But the law textbook itself is very interesting because it is written in Danish and in runes, which is very unusual for the time because most law texts or texts of that type would have been written in Latin and using a Latin alphabet. So it's a little unusual just to begin with, but then to find this tiny little fragment at the bottom. And because it's in Dano-Norwegian, I will tell you what it is, what the gist of this tale is. It is a tale of someone who is having a dream about silk and fine furs and just going to parties and a magical time, meeting in the fields with all of their village friends, meeting their lover in the fields and spending a lovely time in the evenings, dancing and carousing, etc. But as it does in life, every verse ends with, and then morning came. So I give you Drømte meg en drøm. And I'm playing on a very tiny Anglo-Saxon lyre. Drømte meg en drøm i natt om silke og gærlig pæl. Dratt så leit og glatt i sølvfallets stråleveil. Nu våkner den klare morgen. Til det unges flokk jeg gikk, jeg dro i små sang og dans. Trøst ich med jeg hans blikk, I leia min hånd I hans. Nu våkner den klare morgen. Alle andre på altså, de smilede og de lå. Snart gikk dansen helt I stå, der dansede kun vi to. Nu våkner den klare morgen. Drømte meg en drøm I natt om silke og gærlig pæl. Fjend han helse meg sin hatt og grå gikk min drøm på hæl. Nu våkner den klare morgen. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much for performing that for us. You did it lovely, or you did a loverly job. All right, and one thing I wanted to point out about this war point is that this is documentable performances of any pre-1650 performing art from any place or culture. So you're going to see a wide variety of pieces, and everybody provided documentation for this. So I'm just super excited on this, and I'm so glad that we're all here on this adventure together. Our next performer is also from the Western Alliance, and they are Bantiarna Shivan Tegan. And Shivan, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
I am Siobhan Tegan. I am of the Kingdom of Abacal, and I am representing the Western Alliance. I chose probably something fairly simple, but I've always been in love with the works of William Shakespeare, and the idea of being able to perform his work didn't actually occur to me at first, but I'm a fairly new person to the SCA. So with that said, why not enjoy a little bit of William Shakespeare on this lovely Saturday afternoon? I will be performing Sonnet 98 by William Shakespeare. From you have I been absent in the spring, when proud-pied April, dressed in all his trim, hath put forth a spirit of youth in everything, that heavy Saturn laughed and leaped with him. Yet nor the lays of birds, nor the sweet smell of different flowers in odor and in hue, could make me any summer's story tell, or from their proud lap pluck them where they grew. Nor did I wonder at the lilies white, nor praise the deep vermilion of the rose. They were but sweet, but figures in delight. Drawn after you, pattern of all these, yet seemed it winter still, and you away, as with your shadow, I with these did play. Thank you.
That was well delivered. Thank you so much, Siobhan, for participating in this war point for your alliance, and thank you for giving us such a beautiful sonnet. So I wanted to say that for anyone who's watching at home, I say this on all of the showcases I host, it's really hard to perform for a blank screen and not a live audience. So everyone who's participating in this today is very brave to be just looking at a camera and not getting any feedback. So I just really, truly appreciate everyone who's here today. So our next performer is from the Eastern and Atlantean Alliance, James of Sakura. So James, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Thank you. Good gentles, welcome. The piece I am performing is by Orlando Gibbons. Sadly, I am the last surviving member of my consort, and thus will sing this alone. It is entitled The Silver Swan. The silver swan, who living had no note, when death approached, unlocked her silent throat. Leaning her breast against the reedy shore, thus sang her first and last, and sang no more. Farewell all joys, farewell all joys, O death, come close mine eyes. More geese than swans now live, more fools than wise. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that performance to us today, James. And I'm sorry to hear that, but it was beautifully done. You know, it's so wonderful getting to see all of these different artists perform. It's so amazing to have people from all over the world interacting with us through this Bardic War. So I'm extremely grateful for the chance to meet people that I never got to meet before. So with that said, our next performer is from the Mid-Realm Alliance, Lady Melanie de la Tour. Lady Melanie, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Good day, good gentles. I am Lady Melanie de la Tour, and I live in Callantyre, and I am performing today for the Mid-Realm Alliance. I will be performing Awake, Sweet Love by John Dowland. Dowland was a contemporary of William Shakespeare's. He was the premier lutenist of his day, and he essentially invented the lute song that, as it was known in Elizabethan England. And even though he did not spend a lot of time in England, he was Catholic, and he was exiled to the court of the King of Denmark. But he returned to England from time to time to publish, and this song is published in his first book of airs in 1597. So this is Awake, Sweet Love. Awake, sweet love, thou art returned, my heart which long in absence mourned, lives now in perfect joy. Good love which never absent dies, now live forever day, good gentles.
That was so beautiful. Thank you so much for bringing that performance to us today, Melanie. And I have to say, as a singer who cannot play a musical instrument, I believe anyone who can play a musical instrument and accompany themselves are actually wizards. So I'm always enamored whenever someone is able to do that. So thank you so much for bringing that to us today. Our next performer comes from the Western Alliance, Cortesana Bires de Romans. Bires, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video. You already have. Take it away.
Thank you, Honor. I am from the Kingdom of Abacal, and I'm very excited to be here playing for the Western Alliance. And as luck would have it, or perhaps it's design, I am playing another Elizabethan lute song immediately following that beautiful rendition of the Dowland song. This one is by Thomas Campion, who was a contemporary of John Dowland and who's often compared to him. They both wrote lute songs during the same period. Campion's songs tend to be more simple, but unlike John Dowland, he wrote all of his own text. This song goes by very quickly, so I'm going to briefly share the text with you because it's easy to miss the wit. Fain would I wed a fair young man that day and night could please me, when my mind and body grieved that had the power to ease me. Maids are full of longing thoughts that breed a bloodless sickness, and that oft I hear men say is only cured by quickness. Oft I have been wooed and prayed, but never could be moved. Many for a day or so I have most dearly loved. But this foolish mind of mine straight loathes the thing resolved. If to love be sin in me, that sin is soon absolved. Sure, I think I shall at last fly to some holy order. When I once am settled there, then can I fly no farther. Yet I would not die a maid, because I had a mother. As I was by one brought forth, I would bring forth another. This is Fain Would I Wed by Thomas Campion. Fain would I wed a fair young man, that day and night could please me, when my mind and body grieved that had the power to ease me. Maids are full of longing thoughts that breed a bloodless sickness, and that oft I hear men say is only cured by quickness. Oft I have been wooed and prayed, but never could be moved. Only for a day or so I have most dearly loved. But this foolish mind of mine straight loathes the thing resolved. If to love be sin in me, that sin is soon absolved. Sure, I think I shall at last fly to some holy order. When I once am settled there, then can I fly no farther. Yet I would not die a maid, because I had a mother. As I was by one brought forth, I would bring forth another. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Oh my goodness, I just love your voice, and that was so well done. Thank you so much for bringing that performance to us today and gracing us with it. One thing that the viewers at home may not realize is that there's something that as host I get to see behind the scenes, if you will, is that everyone who's here competing are sending in the chat after everyone performs, oh my gosh, that was so good, oh beautiful, lovely, I love that song. So even though everybody here is competing, they're also supporting each other, and I think that's one of the best parts about this war, is that everyone is just so excited to see what everybody else has to offer. And speaking of which, our next performer is from the Eastern and Atlantean Alliance, Lady Thorve Skald Rickersdottir. Lady Thorve, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Hello, I am Lady Thorve Skald Rickersdottir, indeed from Atlantia, the great barony of Highland Ford. I am going to be doing Lord Randall. The earliest known written version was around 1629, early 1600s, but it was a Scottish, a spoken, not exactly a ballad, just a poem and a story for, we don't really know how long before that. So it's old, it is part of the child ballads. I tend to like to take traditional songs and put my own little twist on them. So this is my little twist on Lord Rendell. And I think it kind of shows the characters' voices, well, a little differently. So here we go. Oh, where have you been, Lord Randall, my son? Where have you been, my handsome young man? I've been at the greenwood, mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm weary with hunting, and fine would lie do. And what met you there, Lord Randall, my son? What met you there, my handsome young man? I met with my true love, mother, mark my pet soon, for I'm weary with hunting, and fine would lie do. What did she give you, Lord Randall, my son? Tell me, what did she give you, my handsome young man? Eels, friend in a pan, mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm weary with hunting, and fine would lie do. Tell me, what got your livings, Lord Randall, my son? What got your livings, my handsome young man? My hawks and my hounds, mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm weary with hunting, and fine would lie do. What become of them, Lord Randall, my son? What become of them, my handsome young man? They died on the way here, mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm weary with hunting, and fine would lie do. Oh, I fear you are poisoned, Lord Randall, my son. Oh, I fear you are poisoned, my handsome young man. Oh, yes, I am poisoned, mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm sick at the heart, and I fine would lie do. What do you leave to your mother, Lord Randall, my son? What do you leave to your mother, my handsome young man? 24 milk I, mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm sick at the heart, and I fine would lie do. What do you leave to your sister, Lord Randall, my son? What do you leave to your sister, my handsome young man? My gold and my silver, mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm sick at the heart, and I fine would lie do. What do you leave to your brother, Lord Randall, my son? What do you leave to your brother, my handsome young man? My lands and my houses, Mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm sick at the heart, and I fain would lie down. What do you leave to your true love, Lord Randall, my son? What do you leave to your true love, my handsome young man? I leave her hell and fire. Mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm sick at the heart, and I fain would lie down.
Thank you, Thorve. I really appreciated that song, and it was so beautifully done. I'm so glad that you were able to participate with us this afternoon.
Me too. Thank you.
And speaking of afternoon, that's one thing I wanted to point out. Of course, everyone knows, well, maybe not everyone knows, that we're dealing with multiple time zones here. So we're dealing with, of course, people from all over the world. And so I think it's fantastic that people are here, even if they're 3 hours behind, or hell, even if they're from Lockhook or Drachenwald. So I just think it's so awesome that we have people from all over the world here. Our next performer is from the Midrealm Alliance, Taliesin Wardweaver. Taliesin, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Greetings. My name is Taliesin Wordweaver, and I come from the barony of Donnershofen in Pentimere, the land of northern lights, green woods, and clear waters. I am a seer of my people and a shope of our traditions. It is my role to recall for others the memories that dwindle and grow thin. I have already shared the mystic songs of my kind with the war, and today I share with you the wisdom poetry of my culture and of my own composition. It is called Wonders Walk. Wonders walk this boundless world. Do you know their names? Do you note their presence? The oak and the acorn is clear to my eyes, and the bird in the bough in the bauble-like egg. I sense the sun in the silver starlight, the earthly ore in the igneous pebble, the lay of life in the call of the lark, and the course of decay in the caving mountains. But with arms and eyes both open wide, I trace all truths, be they deep or trivial. For youth must yield to the passing years, as the bough of the birch must bend under snow. Yet I face the fates and feel no dread, for the myriad mysteries marking this life are sweet to my soul. My insatiable mind revels in raveling riddles and knots, plucking and pulling the strands apart to reveal a vision of veritable beauty. Partake of eternity's terrible link with me, bask in the boundless beauty of space, and feel no fear for infinity's vastness. Though frail as frost are our fragile lives, and brief as a breath of breeze is our time here. This lambent life will be lost soon enough, like a flower to flood or a flame to storm. So soak in the sunlight and savor the burning, for who lives belabored by dread is lost while yet walking this world, bereft of wonder. Death is the doom, all life is due. Yet greet him graciously, grudge not his coming. And when time has taken its toll on your senses, release this life without bitterness, lightly, as the fledgling flies when flung from the nest. Thank you.
Beautifully done and so well delivered. Thank you so much, Taliesin, for bringing that to us today. Oh gosh, and one thing I wanted to point out, we are recording all of these war points. So if you have to go for any reason, these are all going to be on YouTube later, which I think is amazing because I think I'm going to want to revisit some of my favorite performances. But this also gives us an opportunity to watch and support our friends and family from various days that maybe we were unable to watch while live. So our next performer is coming from the Eastern and Atlantean Alliance. Lady Enya Ingen Mal Duin. Lady Enya, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Hello. So I'm Lady Enya Ingen Maltwain. I sound like a singer, but I'm spelled like a sneeze. And I am here to sing the Willow Song. The Willow Song is a piece from Shakespeare. Desdemona sings it in Othello, but there's evidence that the song is actually a lot older than we think. The neat thing about this is that when they found this piece of music, it was hand copied in a book of music that had a date between 1610 and 1640. So it's like somebody sharing their music today. I just think that's the coolest thing ever, that this was popular even then. So here's the Willow Song. The poor soul sat sighing by a sycamore tree. Sing a willow, 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 with his hand in his bosom and his head upon his knee. Oh, willow, 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 willow. Oh, willow, 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 shall be my garland. Sing all a green willow. Willow, willow, willow. I may the green willow shall be my garland. He sighed in his singing and made a great moan. Sing willow, willow, willow. I am dead to a pleasure. My true love, she is gone. Oh, willow, 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 willow. Oh, willow, 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 shall be my garland. Sing a green willow. Willow, willow, willow. I may the green willow shall be my garland. Come all you forsaken, and mourn you with me. Sing a willow, 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 who speaks of a false love, mine's falser than she. Oh, willow, 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 willow. Oh, willow, 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 shall be my garland. Sing all a green willow. Willow, willow, willow. I may the green willow must be my garland. Take this for my farewell and latest adieu. Sing willow, willow, willow. Write this on my tomb, that in love I was true. Oh, willow, 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 willow. Oh, willow, 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 must be my garland. Sing all the green willow. Willow, willow, willow. I may the green willow must be my garland.
was lovely. Thank you so much, Enya. You have a beautiful voice. And that's something that I've really, truly appreciated is getting to see everyone's unique and lovely talents that they've been able to present throughout this war. You know, I used to always say that my kingdom had such talented people, and I was so happy about that. But now I can say the SCA has talented people, and that just makes me so happy knowing I could go anywhere in the SCA and get to geek out about period music with people and just singing and performing in general. So thank you so much. Our next performer is from the Mid-Realm Alliance, Gwyneth Espicier. Gwyneth, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Greetings, I'm Gwyneth Espicier from the Kingdom of Callantyr, performing for the Mid-Realm Alliance. And for you today, I have the beginning of Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. Now today, that's probably the single most popular, well-known piece of poetry that was written in Middle English. But for those of you who may not be familiar with it, or maybe a little rusty on your Middle English, let me give you a little synopsis. Chaucer is getting ready to go on a pilgrimage to Canterbury, and he talks about it's April, the spring showers have made the earth rejoice and the flowers bloom, birds are inspired to sing all night long, and people are inspired to go on pilgrimage. And he is staying the night in an inn before setting off on pilgrimage himself, and he meets up with a group of other pilgrims and decides to join with them. And they get ready to set out the next day on their pilgrimage. Canterbury Tales. When that April with his sure sota, the drocht of March hath passed to the rota, and bathed every vein in sweet liquor, of which virtue engendered is the floor. When Zephyrus, eke with his sweat a breath, in spirit hath in every holt and heth the tender cropis, and the young sun hath in the ram his halve course run. Dan smalle fooles maken melodie, that slepen aber nicht with open ear, so pricketh hem natuur in hier courages. Dan longen folk to gaan on pilgrimages, and palmerus for to second strangers throndes, to ferne hollows couth in sondry londes. And specially from every sheers end of Engeland, to Canterbury they went, the holy blissful martyr for to sek, that hem hath holpen when that they were sick. Befil is in that season on a day in Southwark at the tabard, as Eli ready to wend on me pilgrimage to Canterbury, with full devout courage. At nicht was come into that whole story well 29 in a company of sundry folk, beyond to fall of fellowship, and pilgrims wherein they all that toward Canterbury wold and read. The chambers and the stables were in Weeda, and well we were in Ezed at a besta. Then shortly, when the sun was to rest, so had he spoken with him every chun that he was of her fellowship anon, and mara forward, early for Teresa, to talk our way there, as a Jude visa. But natheless, while he have team and spasa, ere that he further in this tall patha, me thinketh it accordant to reason to tell you all the condition of each of them, so as it seemed may, in which they were in, and of what degree, and eke in what array that they were in, and at a canish dan will he first begin. Thank you.
That was beautiful and so cool. Thank you so much, Gwyneth, for bringing that to us today on this beautiful afternoon. It's beautiful where I am. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'm assuming it's beautiful where you are because we're getting to listen to amazing performances. So one thing I wanted to point out to everyone who's watching and everybody who's competing today, the next War Point scheduled is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it's the original song category. And then the final live War Point is scheduled for tomorrow, Sunday, at 10 a.m. Eastern, and that is the battle speech or story. So make sure to check them out and support your friends and your alliance. And speaking of alliances, the next performers from the Western Alliance, we have Haspnen Jochen Schwalbe. So Haspnen, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
All right. Good morning, all. And I say good morning because here in Lockhart, on the east coast of Lockhart at least, it's about 20 to 6 in the morning and a beautiful time of the day. And so there's been some lovely performances. Today I'm performing a Landsknecht marching song, which can be documented back to the mid-16th century. And it is called Unser liebe Frau. And I'm singing it in German, and I apologise if I mishmash a couple of words. Away we go. Unsere liebe Frau von kalten Brunnen, bescher uns armen Landsknecht deine warme Sonnen. Lass uns nicht erfrieren, wohl in des Wirtes Haus. Ziehen wir mit vollem Segel und leeren wieder aus. Die Trommeln, la man, hey, reedy, run, frisch voran, Landsknecht voran. Der Trommler schlägt Parade, die Seidenfahnen wehen. Jetzt heißt auf Gluckengnabe ins Feld spazieren gehen. Das Korn reift auf den Feldern, es schnappt der Hecht den Strom. Heiß weht der Wind von Gelden herauf den Berg auf Sund. Die Trommeln, la man, hey, reedy, run, frisch voran, Landsknecht voran. Wir schlucken Staub beim Wandern, der Säckel hängt uns hoch. Der Kaiser schluckt ganz Flandern, bekommt's ihm ewig wohl. Der denkt beim Länderschmause, die Erde, der wird wohl. Mir wohnt ein lieb zu Hause, das weinte, wenn ich stirb. Die Trommeln, la man, hey, reedy, run, frisch voran, Landsknecht voran.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for bringing that to us. And good morning to you as well. I didn't realize that it was quite so early where you are. So what an awesome start to your day, getting to perform with such amazing other performers. You know, that really makes me realize just how awesome technology is. I know that it is exhausting and it's wearing, but it enables us to do things like this. So even though I miss being in person and I miss singing with other people and hearing performances live, I truly, truly appreciate the fact that we have technology, that we can actually still get performances and music and stories and interaction with other people over the internet and via things like Zoom. So I'm so grateful for that. Our next performer comes from the Eastern and Atlantean Alliance, the Honorable Lord Dietrich von Saxon. If you would please, Dietrich. Oh, you already have. Take it away.
Guten Tag, mein Herren und Herrinnen. Mein Name is Dietrich von Saxon, Lupine Bard of Eldamere, and today I bring you a piece from the 13th century written by the great poet and Minnesänger Walther van der Vogelweide. Try saying that 3 times fast. It is a piece that tells of the tale of a Christian pilgrim to the Holy Land, and through following in that pilgrimage, establishing the justness of the Christian claim to that part of the world. The piece is called Nu Ares Lebe Ich Min Werde. Modernly, it is known as Palestina Lied. Nur es lever ich min werde, sieht min sundig Auge sieht, das hehre Land und euch die Erde, der man so will ehren gibt. Es ist geschehen, es ist bald. Ich bin kommen an die Stadt, da Gott mich nicht liefen war. Stundenlang da rief und wäre, was ist er noch angesehen, so bist du's dir aller Ehre, was ist Wunder nie geschehen, dass ein Magd ein Kind gebar, über alle Engelschar, was das nie dein Wunder gab. Elise sieht keiner Tauben, dass der Mensch reiner sieht. Elise sieht jeder kaufen, dass wir eigen wurden frei. Anders wären wir verloren, wollt ihr Stertus unter Dorn. Bet ihr Heiden, das ist ihr Zorn. Innen wurden Sonne heller, von dem Grabe darina lag. Es war sie, der Vater Gesteller, und der Kisten niemand mag. Zum Erscheinen ist allein, slept und abänder dann ein Sein, als Abraham mit Schein. O den Teufel, o Geschande, dass die Kaiser was gestreit, o Herr, wieder Lande, du siehst der Juden Leid, dass jeder Gute brach und das Land ihn sieht lebendig stark, der ihr Hand schlug und das Tag. Christen, Juden und die Heiden, gehen das der Erbe sie, dort Moses scheiden, durch die Sina Namen drie, alto Weltuts dritte Herr, wir sind an der rechten Herr, recht ist das, der uns gewährt. Dankeschön.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. I always love percussion. I actually had dreams of being a drummer when I was younger. So thank you so much, Lord Dietrich, for the Honorable Lord Dietrich, for bringing that to us today. And I wanted to point out that there are still classes going because this war is not over yet, and there's more than just war points happening. So if you have the time and you're interested, there's a couple classes happening today. So you should definitely check them out on the main Bardic War page, there is specifically a class schedule listed. The very next one happening is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. There's two actually. One is the history of the harpsichord and who was King Arthur anyway. So make sure to check those out. So our next performer comes from the Mid-Realm Alliance, Lady Constanza de Talavera. Lady Constanza, if you would, unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Hi, my name is Lady Constanza de Talavera, and I'm going to be performing Recitata Prima by Diego Ortiz. And this is from the Trattora de Glossas, which is a treatise that he wrote on ornamentation for the viola da gamba. This is, it's really one of the practice pieces, but it stands pretty well on its own as a solo too. So I like it, and I hope you like it too.
Oh, that was excellent. Thank you so much, Constanza. That was beautiful playing. I'm so glad that you were able to join us this afternoon. And one thing I wanted to point out is, first off, we're a little bit more than halfway through our Warpoint performances today, so I'm a little sad about that. But there's still some amazing performers that are coming up. And I just wanted to point out that if you weren't planning on it, there's some really cool activities that are happening even tomorrow. The Fool's Court is scheduled to happen from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, and it's happening before closing ceremonies. And it's just a chance for pointless and foolish champions, as it says, who will be recognized with equally silly award scrolls. It's just a chance for fun and bragging rights, and so they're going to be watching silly videos and looking at memes and just celebrating such an awesome week full of shenanigans. So definitely check that out. Our next performer comes from the Eastern and Atlantean Alliance, Peregrine the Illuminator. Peregrine, if you would, unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
A request, mods, would you please turn on my video? Excellent, thank you very much. I am Peregrine the Illuminator of the East and Atlantea Alliance. The year is 1450 in a farmhouse at Harjolfsnes, south of the eastern settlement in Greenland, known for its vodmal, its wonderful warm wool weaving. People have gathered after the day of work to eat, to drink, to tell stories. A man sits and writes in the corner in a cramped hand, capturing stories as best he can before he sails back to Iceland. Last night, a storyteller told the saga of Ref the Sly, a boy who was big for his age, good looking and hard to manage, and most people said that he was a fool. The story started last night where Ref defended his family farm against a trespassing neighbor who showed no remorse for killing their farmhand. Tonight, the storyteller will continue with what happened next. Ref's mother said to Ref, "I will send you west to Bardistrand, to my brother Guest. I want you to stay there until this killing has been settled." Ref set out and did not stop until he reached Hagi, where he got a hearty welcome. When the two kinsmen began talking, Guest asked, "Do you have any news to report?" Ref said, "I have not." "But do you know any?" Guest said. Ref said, "It is unlikely that I do not," and told what he had been involved in at his family farm. Guest said, "I will certainly shelter you. Are you a master in some skill?" Ref said, "That is not the case at all." Guest said, "I can see that you are potentially a master of something, and I'll soon see what it is." Ref stayed there for some time. In due course, Guest came to Ref and said, "Now I know what your gift is. I've noticed that when you started cutting a bobbin for yarn, that it was always cut true, neither twisted nor rough. And of the things you've put your hand to, that carving was the most adroitly done. You will be a master craftsman if you wish." "That could be," said Ref, "but I've never built anything." Guest said, "I'd like to put this to the test. I want you to make me a boat for catching seals." Ref said, "Get enough and more of tools and material, because lots of people, when a project doesn't turn out well, blame the outcome on inadequate supplies. Moreover, I don't want anyone to know about this project, because if it turns out well, people will probably say that somebody came and taught me how to do it." Then Guest had a big boat shed built and a great deal of timber brought up. A canoe had wrecked on Guest's beach, and he had brought all the ship's timber. Guest had all this timber brought to Ref's shed, along with the ship nails. Guest also had a supply of unwrought iron, and Ref said he wanted that brought, that he could forge ship nails for himself. Guest had all kinds of tools brought there, as well as a forge and charcoal. Then Guest said, "Now I have had everything brought to your shed so that nothing more should be needed, even if you built a cargo vessel capable of sailing to other lands." Ref told Guest, "You could do no more, however the project turned out." Then Ref started work. He rose early, he came home late, and this went on for 3 months. One morning, Guest sent his most trusted man to the shed, telling him, "Find out how this sealing boat is going. It is probably ready, though I know little about it." The man who was sent got there without Ref's noticing and looked the work over thoroughly. Then he went home and told Guest, "A sealing boat like that would seldom be seen, because a bigger ship than that has never come here to Iceland." Guest told him, "Say nothing about it." And 2 more months passed. One morning, when Guest got up, he saw that Ruff was lying in bed. Guest reached out and nudged him and said, "You're sleeping late, nephew. Is the sealing boat ready?" "You could say," said Ruff, "that she'll float, and I won't do any more until you've seen her." "We'll go there today," said Guest, "and look at this job." Guest went to the shed with only a few people because he did not want it generally known if the project was bungled. When he arrived, there stood a thoroughly ocean-going cargo vessel. Guest inspected the ship very carefully, and Ruff's skill seemed all the more remarkable to him since he had never built a ship before. Guest thanked Ruff for the shipbuilding and said, "Now I want to pay you for this ship by gifting it to you." Ruff said, "I will gladly accept it." Word that Ruff had built an ocean-going cargo vessel went around. This seemed extraordinary news, since Ruff was generally regarded as a simpleton. It had happened that a Norwegian and his son had once lodged with Ruff's father. Ruff and the visitor's son were of the same age. The boy had as a plaything a Norwegian toy ship made exactly like an ocean-going vessel. When the Norwegian son went away, he gave Ruff this ship, which he had for amusement in the fire room and as a model for his shipbuilding. Then the winter passed and the games began, but that is a story for another day.
Wonderful story. Thank you so much, Peregrine, for coming and sharing that story with the rest of us this afternoon. I truly appreciate it. And one thing I wanted to point out to everyone who's watching who may be new or who maybe has never even participated in the SCA before, but because this is happening online, you're like, oh, I'm going to check it out. You know, you don't have to have any prerequisites to join us for Bardic, for music, for storytelling, for poetry, for foolery. You just have to want to join us. And actually, I wanted to point out that later this evening, there is going to be a Coastal Bardic Circle happening. It's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's hosted by Nezhka, who is the Atlantean general. It's going to be a great time, and if you've never performed before in an SCA setting, that's a great way to start, is by doing a Bardic Circle, and, you know, really testing the waters and getting your toes a little wet. So our next performer comes from the Western Alliance, the Honorable Lady Juliana Lavrick. And Juliana, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Hello, everyone. I am the Honorable Ladyship Juliana Lavrick from Ontier. I'm going to be performing for you a song by Thomas Campion. Now, one of the things people don't know about Thomas Campion is that though he lived in Shakespeare's time, he hated everything to do with Shakespearean or Elizabethan music. Everything he wrote was based on a fake quantification version of Latin that we've proven to not be true. However, I thought that for this performance, I would sing the song as Thomas Campion would sing it, and not as a drunken Elizabethan in a bar, which he abhorred, would sing it. In fact, in the book I got this from, he put in the margins, "I'm so angry people are going to drunkenly sing this improperly in the bar." So this is Thomas Campion, The Peaceful Western Wind, as he would sing it, not as an Elizabethan would sing it. Okay. The peaceful western wind, the winter storms hath tamed, and nature in each kind, the kind heat hath inflamed. The forward buds so sweetly breathe out of their earthly bowers, that heaven which views their pomp beneath would fain be decked with flowers. See how the morning smiles on her bright eastern hill, and with soft step steps beguiles them that lie slumbering still. The music loving birds are come from cliffs and rocks unknown to see the trees and briars bloom that late were overflown. What Saturn did destroy, love's queen revives again, and now her naked boy doth in the fields remain, where he such pleasing change doth view in every living thing, as if the world were born anew to gratify the spring. If all things life present, why die my comforts then? Why suffers my content? Am I the worst of men? O beauty, be not thou accused too justly in this case. Unkindly, if true love be used, 'twill yield thee little grace. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed Thomas Campion, The Peaceful Western Wind.
That was awesome. That was such a beautiful voice. Thank you so much, Juliana, for bringing that to us this afternoon and for joining us. Oh my gosh. One thing I wanted to point out, believe it or not, tomorrow is the end. So tomorrow is the end of the Bardic War, and closing ceremonies are scheduled at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And closing ceremonies, you're going to hear from some of the royals of the kingdoms that have participated, as well as the generals. You're going to hear a little bit from a lot of the generals, and I hope that you can make it. It's going to be a little farewell, and it's going to be a little sad, but it's going to be good as well. So our next performer comes from the Eastern and Atlantean Alliance. Solveig Bjarnardottir, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and ladies. I am Solveig Bjarnardottir. I do hail from the East. Today I will be sharing with you a chant from 1347, between 1347 and 1351. We are in the town of Coimbra, Portugal, having been visited by a violent pestilence. The nuns of the St. Clare offered their prayers in the following form, whereupon the contagion instantly ceased. This holy prayer left to the monastery of St. Clare hath preserved so many places from the contagion, where it is recited daily with confidence in God and the intercession of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Stella Celi extirpavit, quae lactavit Dominum, Martis pessim quam plantavit, primus parens hominum. Ipsa stella nunt inietur, sidera compescere, quorum bella plebum cedunt, nire mortis ulcere, opissima stella maris, a peste succurre nobis. Ordinos Domina, non filius tuus, ni nege and thus we have been cleansed.
Oh, that was glorious. Thank you so much, Solveig. What a beautiful voice. I'm so glad that you were able to join us this afternoon. And we are getting close to wrapping up, guys. Kind of makes me sad. I just wanted to say this Bardic War has been amazing, and I believe that it's going to be something that happens in the years to come. I hope that we're able to meet in person as well, and if so, then I get to meet all of you in person, which would be amazing. And I just can't wait. So our next performer comes from the Western Alliance. Lady Elizabeth Winter, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Hello, I'm Lady Elizabeth Winter. I represent the Western Alliance, and I hail from the Kingdom of the Outlands. I have chosen 3 ravens. It was published by Thomas Ravenscroft in 1611, but the version that I will be singing is something that I have never seen written down. It seems to lean heavily on a Phrygian mode, and I think it lends itself well to the generally eerie nature of the lyrics. There were 3 ravens sat on a tree. Down, down, hey, down, down. They were as black as they might be, with a down, derry, down. Then one of them said to his mate, where shall we for our breakfast take? With a down, derry, down. Down in yonder deep green field, down, down, hey, down, down. There lies a knight slain under his shield, with a down, derry, down. His hounds, they lie down at his feet. How well do they their master keep, with a down, derry, down. His hawks, they fly so eagerly, down, derry, down. There is no fowl that dare him come nigh, with a down, derry, down. Then down there came a fallow doe, as great with young as she might go, with a down, derry, down. She lifted up his bloody head, down, derry, down, and kissed his wounds that were so red, with the down, derry, down. She got him up upon her back, and carried him to earth and lake, with a down, derry, down. She buried him before the prime, a derry. She was dead herself, ere even sometime. God send every gentleman such hawks, such hounds, and such a loved one.
That was beautiful, Elizabeth. I'm so glad that you were able to join us this afternoon and present that beautiful song to us all. And I wanted to remind everybody that not all of the war points have been live. There are also a ton of war points that were asynchronous entries. They were all showcased throughout the week as videos on YouTube, but you should definitely check them out. There's some amazing performances in there as well. And with that, we only have one more performer today. So I'm very excited to present to you from the Eastern Atlantean Alliance, Johan von Solothurn. Johan, if you would please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and take it away.
Okay, I'm Johan von Solothurn from the Kingdom of Atlantia. And I will be doing Now, I Needs Must Part. This is a song by John Dowland. It was published in his first book of songs in 1597. And this will be a lute song, and I'll also be doing some instrumental work here. So several of Dowland's lute songs shared their melody with instrumental pieces that he had written. And Now is one of those. So Now, I Needs Must Part shares its melody with one of my favorite lute pieces by Dowland, the Frog Galliard. So I'll take some snippets from the Frog Galliard and make an introduction and an outro for this piece, and maybe break up the verses a little bit. Now, I needs must part, parting though I absent mourn. Absence can no joy impart, joy once fled cannot return. While I live, I needs must love. Love lives not when hope is gone. Now at last despair doth prove, love divided loveth none. Sad despair doth drive me hence, this despair unkindness sends. If that parting be offense, it is she which then offends. Dear, if I do not return, love and I shall die together, for my absence never mourn, whom you might have joyed ever. Part we must, though now I die I do to part with you. Him despair doth cause to lie, who both lived and died true. Sad despair doth drive me hence, this despair unkindness sends. If that parting be offence. It is she which then offends. Thank you.
That was beautiful. What a wonderful way to end so many amazing performances with yet another bardic wizard who can accompany himself. I think I'm going to refer to all of you as wizards. This was just so amazing. I'm so glad that you allowed me to be your host today, and that I got to see everybody's unique and very skillful performances. So I wanted to thank everyone who performed today, who competed, because this is a competition, this is a Warpoint competition, because it's hard to do this, as I said before, online and without an audience. And I also wanted to thank our tech and our mod. You guys are behind the scenes working magic to make this happen, and we really can't do any of this without you. I certainly can't, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I just need you guys to make it work. Thank you. And then also our judges, because you're taking time out of your day and you're reading the documentation and you're spending so much time to do this and volunteering, and I truly appreciate all of the work that you do as well. So that is it. This is the end. We have 2 more live war points happening, and then the war is over. My name is Honor von Atzinger. Please check out the Bardic War webpage for all of the amazing events that are still scheduled to happen. And have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.